People returned for the first time in 8 weeks. That story coming up. But in the last few minutes, in the first political poll since we went into lockdown, National has plummeted 12 points to just 30.6, with Labour up 14 points to 56.5%. A new Newshub poll has revealed Labour's handling of the COVID situation has given them a massive boost in the polls. And joining us now is political commentator Matthew Hooton. Matthew, crisis tends to favour a government, so is anything in there a surprise to you?
I would have expected a big swing to the government and harm to the opposition, but this is absolutely massive. It suggests National is on its way to lose about 12 seats. That's 12 MPs who will lose their jobs. The gap between National and Labour is 26 points. Now, just to put that in context, and you think of a great political landslide, say Ronald Reagan over Walter Mondale, that was only an 18% gap. A 25% gap is absolutely enormous, and there is no way back for National on this unless it makes some radical changes.
So when you say radical changes, do you mean leadership?
Well, clearly the leadership has failed. Simon Bridges is down to 4.5%, down 6 points. The public simply does not like him. That isn't fair. The public simply did not like Andrew Little. And he's a perfectly pleasant person, Andrew Little, but the public did not like him. And so Labour had no choice in the end but to get rid of him. And National is now at that point.
Would anyone have thrived in that environment, though, given the situation, the scenario that Simon Bridges was facing? Would someone else in the job of leading National have done any better?
It's difficult to think they could have done worse. The Labour government, the coalition government, has made many mistakes through this period, including, despite what they claim, they were slow to move to lockdown. It's simply not true that they moved quickly. The National Party and others were urging much faster action. So there was plenty of areas to criticise the government's handling of this. But when Simon Bridges criticises the government, it falls on deaf ears. It just doesn't connect with people. And essentially you have somebody in the leadership, like Andrew Little, who simply cannot communicate, cannot connect with the public.
Is there the stomach to roll him, and who would be the replacement?
Well, the National Party is the Conservative Party. Conservative people join it. Conservative people become MPs, but I don't think any of them were expecting a poll quite this bad. They're expecting more like 35%. So whether they have the stomach is up to them, but at the moment 12 of them are going to lose their jobs, and that's going to focus their minds quite a bit. The obvious candidate, obviously, is Judith Collins. She is there in the preferred Prime Minister rankings. Not that high, but still, she is there. She's got a well-recognised name. She has a well-recognised style of politics. She stood for leader of the National Party before. She desperately wants the job. And to a certain extent, she's almost entitled to it. And certainly that is her view, that she's been treated badly over the years by the National Party hierarchy, that only she has the capability to take on Jacinda Ardern. And there's a very strong case that she's been making behind the scenes for a very long time, that she should be given an opportunity to see if she can do for National what Jacinda Ardern did for Labour.
What about Todd Muller? Because that is a name that is thrown around and has been recently, but I'm sure a lot of people listening, when you mention the name, will go, who?
Yeah, Todd Muller has more than 30 years in the National Party. He was a staffer for Jim Bolger after he finished being, I think, president of the Waikato Student Union, the first National Party person ever to be head of the Waikato Student Union way back in the late 80s. And since then, he's had a career in business at Fonterra and at Zespri. He's extremely well known in provincial New Zealand, but probably not so much in urban New Zealand. And he would be seen as the other candidate against Judith Collins if she decides to take advantage of this poll and act.
We're out of time, but very quickly, how much time do you give Simon Bridges in the leader's role for National?
I think if National acts rationally, they will wait to see what happens in the poll that comes out on Thursday on the other TV network. It's expected to come out on Thursday. They don't have a caucus meeting this week. They're not all gathered in Wellington tomorrow, so they don't have to make a decision urgently. But if that poll is also terrible on Thursday night, then I would suspect that Bridges will come under huge pressure to resign as leader on Tuesday week, tomorrow week, in 8 days' time when they meet as a caucus.
Thank you for your time this evening. That is Matthew Hooton, political commentator there, talking about the new Reid Research Newshub poll, which has Labour at 56.5% and National down to just 30%.